half moon Wanpra, last lunar observance day in May. The weather is generally overall turning hotter and drier, sunny, more sun, more heat. Moving into the dry season, the fire season. There are these various cycles we all go through all these transitions, changes. In the community now, we're in our second month of out of winter retreat. Lots of line trimming, preparing for fire season. Another cycle on my mind is been in the office and just my roles and responsibilities. Ajahn Ṭhitapañño is transitioning. He's the kind of a cycle I appreciate. He was the original Anagarika and then the first bhikkhu ordained at Abhayagiri, and now he has more than 20 vasa and has been taking on more and more responsibility, but now, of course, still committed to meditation, Dhamma Vinaya, Abhayagiri, but would like to step back from having so much administrative duties and so forth, and so it's another cycle. I think the last time maybe I gave a talk in this hall was perhaps December. It's the first time I'm ever live streaming. Something I've been thinking about since, something that's happened since my last reflection in this hall was the emergence, or at least the general knowledge and impact on society of concern about the coronavirus. And I've been, thinking about that. There's various, just about the uncertainty of it, knowing not how is it going to play out, what will happen, prospects of vaccine, how's the economy going to respond, and all sorts of questions, speculation, and just noticing the mind wanting sort of certainty that in 1 year it will be like this, or this will happen, or there will be this positive outcome, or in such and such amount of time everything will basically be okay. And just noticing, well, there aren't it doesn't seem like there are guarantees, but we just have to accept, open to the uncertainty of it, uncertainty of the situation. My impression is, to some extent, in some ways at least, the challenges the community is facing right now, the residents, the bhikkhu, samaneras, anagarikas, laity, all of us here, and facing the challenges in a say locally, statewide, nationally, internationally, and sort of trying to balance different considerations, keeping things running, but there's health concerns, and also just natural thing. Different people have different views, different perceptions. And so, yeah, I find it helpful just to acknowledge it's challenging. It's a bit like this practice Ajahn Ṭhitapañño recommends, which I really appreciate, which is just, which he calls mindfulness of awkward feeling. Part of me just wants agreement and all of us to be on the same page and agree 100%, but it's not possible. But generally we do at the monastery, and even with the extended community, I think, and I hope, generally do a good job of maintaining good harmony, even general communal harmony, even though we have different views, different opinions, different ways of seeing things. Something perhaps this concern about COVID, about the coronavirus has perhaps highlighted is just our sense of our vulnerability. And something that monastic life very much highlights. We have rules forbidding using money, so for the monks we can't just go to the store and buy clothing, so we're dependent on clothing, or if nobody offers food for the day, then that's a day without food. And so that very much exposes highlights the vulnerability and how much it takes, how many things we need to keep a human body going. It's a good reflection. And I think it's can be helpful just for us to remind ourselves maybe the word comes to mind, messiness or uncertainty, or maybe precariousness of our existence. Definitely not to scare ourselves, but just to be realistic about our situation. That because otherwise we can sort of maybe hold to ideals of zero risk, like no amount of risk is acceptable. But really, to me, it seems the only zero risk option is to not be born. After that, it's risk. Something this coronavirus has provoked in many people in different ways is anxiety, whether it be about the virus itself or maybe just about people losing their jobs or the economy, or fear, anxiety, worry. That's so far Bhagira's doing very well, but certainly I think that's fear and anxiety is something that many people can relate to, and certainly I have and still do experience fear and anxiety. And as a side note, I just say I offer whatever reflections I offer tonight, perhaps not so much as a teacher, but as maybe as a fellow struggler on the way. And yeah, just it can be useful to consider fear and anxiety. And I also add that like contemplating fear and anxiety doesn't, hope it doesn't come across as dismissive, as if there's nothing to worry about, or that, because there are real concerns, but it's also a useful skill to be able to work with our fear and anxiety, because often it's not, it can be excessive or not useful, or just a good thing. I remember once I was talking to another monk, and I was like, "Oh, I've just wanted to talk to him about something." I was like, "Oh, do you think we should worry about this?" And his like instant response is, "Well, no, we definitely shouldn't worry about, but maybe there's something we should do or consider." Just making a point of just considering what we need to do, what we should do, but just knowing for ourselves when it's veering into fear and anxiety. And it's good to keep worry, anxiety in perspective from the Buddha's teachings, the Pali's canon. I remember that, there's the quote, thing maybe even been quoted in Dhamma talks not too long ago here, about the Buddha said that he doesn't see safety for living beings not without relinquishing all. So that's, in the end, it's total relinquishment of all attachment, according to the Buddha's teachings, but obviously that's quite a high bar. So along the way, something I encourage from the Thai forest tradition and the Buddha, of course, is we use our powers of observation and, of course, things like spiritual friendship and, where possible, having relationship with teachers and companions, and to see, well, what's helpful for working with difficult emotions like worry. And something I've, I can just share some things that I've appreciated, and when I feel worry or anxious, or actually all sorts of suffering, just can be helpful to do the compassion practice, because when I feel my own suffering, then I can wish all those who are suffering well, and it can actually be a useful meditation practice. Also, there are very just very, not to overlook the very practical considerations for oneself, and like many people would find, I think, exercise is quite helpful. We're quite fortunate in Abhayagiri to live on the beautiful forest, and generally for most of us, whether we like it or not, we do a lot of walking up and down the hills, and it's quite good. So, and just, basic things we can observe for ourselves, like, well, how do we feel if we eat healthy, or versus if our diet is totally composed of soda and junk food. So just observing for ourselves what works, what's helpful. It seems there's some of the concerns at this time are about the economy. I think some call it perhaps the greatest economic downturn since the Great Depression. So perhaps in a way is a lot less of things, but one thing perhaps many people have more of is time. And yeah, in general, I think a good attitude, whatever we're experiencing, whatever is arising, is to see how can we turn the situation to our advantage using our creativity, our ingenuity. I really appreciate Lungpo Suchito, how in the way he plays with words. Like two recent ones that he's done is, for example, he talked about an article titled "Spreading the Coronavirus," which was karuna as in compassion, or saying lockdown. Lockdown means time to open up. So perhaps referring to opening up the heart, opening up our goodwill, our compassion. And if we do have more time in our hands, or however much time we have, can be helpful. Practice I've found helpful, and also I've noticed others in the community also seem to find helpful, is just to make some aspirations for how we use our time, because it's so easily for our time to evaporate. For example, how much meditation we would like to get in, or chanting practice, or reading suttas, or reading spiritual reading, or listening to Dhamma talks, or even things like helping others, whatever it may be. And some people keep a checklist, or we can put our calendar out and give ourselves a little smiley face at the end of the day if we met our goal. Just if we do have more time than usual, just finding ways to structure our time, give ourselves a bit of challenges to rise up to. Another practice that can be helpful in general, and also to help keep things in perspective, is gratitude, just reflecting. It's in a well-known practice, not even particularly Buddhist. Many people speak of it because it is actually effective in changing our perception. Is just at the end of the day, just think or keep a book, or write down, or however we want to do it, just consciously recollect our blessings. For example, count our blessings, recollect things to be grateful for, things people have done for us that have nice. If we're spending lots of time watching news and so forth, we can get and one negative impact of that can be just having quite a negative perception of the world and the state of things. I've been trying that out to just think, okay, at the end of the day, what are some nice things, what things to be grateful for, maybe nice things people did, and it actually can be kind of fun. It does have an uplifting quality on the heart. And so, yeah, I'm hoping to not actually, I was sort of thinking to not go on too long tonight, but maybe just share that I hope we can use our ingenuity and powers of reflection and our good spiritual friendship and many good resources and opportunities around us to try to work with the current conditions and as best we are able. And so I'm offering these reflections, and if anything has been useful, please take it with you, and whatever wasn't, please leave it behind. Thank you.